Did you ever wake up in a sweat from a midnight dream? Well, you were playing the part of a power runaway freight train, a rumbling pile of mad dog thunder and steel. Well, baby, doggone, that's the way you make me feel. And the steam keeps building, and I'm eating up track. Seems like I left my sense of reason miles on back. And you sit there smiling, but if you could read my brain, you'd see yourself underneath the wheel of this runaway train. And you know that train keeps getting closer, baby, day by day. By day by day. By day by day. By day by day.
Okay, well, welcome to the Elvis Now and Then channel, Kees. And
Thank you for
tonight's
having me.
no, it's a pleasure. Kees Mouwen is the author of the Elvis Day by Day books. And tonight we're discussing your latest book, just released this month, is it? The Elvis Day by Days 2017?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, so it's all fresh.
Yeah, and it's I've got my copy here, and as you can see by the wall,
Yeah, your wall looks better than my wall. I'm kind of jealous. I love what you did to the place. Yeah.
well, your room has already knocked me out tonight, so
Yeah, I got a few nice items on the wall. That's true. Behind me is an Elvis signature. What's the prized possession for many Elvis fans, I guess. And I have a few nice awards. So that's always kind of what you associate with Elvis, something personal and something shiny. It belongs to his legacy.
yeah, it looks fantastic. So before we go into the books, should we tell everyone about yourself, sort of where you live, how you got into Elvis, and
Yeah.
and how you first started working on publications and on the internet and everything? I mean, there's quite a bit of history there, I think.
Yeah, it is. It goes back quite a long time. Yeah, well, Kees Mouwen. I live in the Netherlands. I was born in a little town not so far away from Breda, the town where Colonel Parker was born and grew up. So I hope that doesn't rub up too much on me. No, I've been an Elvis fan for about let's say 45 years, and it all started with a little cassette tape I got from my father. And actually, I was quite lucky because my father was primarily a man listening to classical music, and he had 3 or 4 tapes that were something different. That was German country, the Kilima Hawaiians. I don't know if you know that, but that's a Dutch band playing Hawaii music, Jim Reeves, and one Elvis tape. And lucky me, I got the Elvis tape. And that's where it all started for me. It wasn't just a home recorded tape, but at that point, the music was upbeat. The music was, how do you say it in English, happy. And it struck a chord with me. And I've been listening to it ever since. And when I was what older, I started collecting Elvis. But for me, that was, I started earning a little bit of money as a student, working my way through college. And then in the 90s, that was kind of when I started collecting. And Elvis in the 90s series, you probably know it.
Yeah.
That's actually, I grew up with CDs, and I'm, later in life, turning to vinyl, buying less and less CDs and more vinyl. So I feel like I'm going back in time, but, I enjoy the format and everything that's available. My Elvis online story. Yeah, I was in 1999. I met Lex Raaphorst, who was already doing a few things on the internet. He lived in the same town as where I lived, and we thought, okay, there is so much news on the internet. It's scattered all over the place, but there's no place where everything comes together, except in a monthly or a quarterly Elvis magazine. And we thought, why not do that online? Collect all the news there is, and every week make a newspaper and present that to the fans. So we started out with a site called the Elvis Telegraph. You know, how much newspaper can you get? But after a few months, we changed the name to elvisnews.com. And that's a website probably a lot of fans interested in what happens in the Elvis world know. And we did that together for a little over 10 years. And I must be honest, or how do you say that in proper English? It was quite a success, and it was fun to do. You know, the Elvis world changed, the way we shared information, reviews, talk to each other. You know, it was the whole transition from paper to online. Well, you were probably part of it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like a lot of Elvis fans online, I really enjoyed Elvis News, you know, and I think it was round about the time in the UK as well that the Elvis Monthly magazine stopped.
Yeah.
Now, I was buying that magazine since I was a kid. You
Okay.
know.
Oh, that was a sad moment then.
So, you know, having that reserved at your little local newsagent in England, just, you know, every month you go down and collect it. And then I can't remember the exact year, if it was 99 or 2000, but and then suddenly they just stopped publishing it.
Yeah.
And,
it was a transition. Many magazines, especially fan club magazines, because it's all homemade. You know, people put in their heart and soul, their own money, and publish something to share it with other fans. You know, and some magazines were, of course, commercial, and they could be of higher quality. Yeah, but you know, with the internet age, everything changed, and well, we kind of stepped in at the right moment, and it was fun to do. But at one point, you know, how do you say, the love is gone, and I decided to step out and do something for myself, and then I started elvisdaybyday.com, just a simple blog. And doing still the same, but being in full control myself, and deciding what I want to do, the way I want to do it. And I've been doing that for 16 years. And Elvis News and Elvis Day by Day combined, I've been doing it for 26 years. So Elvis News is kind of part of my daily routine. So
yeah.
So you were right. I go back a long time with Elvis News.
Yeah. And when you broke away and did Day by Day, did Elvis News carry on, or did it both change?
No, it carried on, but we kind of had a working relation that I did more the front side of the website, and Lex did the back side of the website, the technology, everything to keep it running. So when I stepped out, you know, the content of the site was not as up to date as it used to be. And
right.
that's kind of what I like to do. If you're a news site, you have to be on front of the news. You know, you don't want to publish yesterday's news or last week's news. You want to publish the news kind of as it happens. And that's what I try to do every day.
And sometimes that makes it very difficult to create content, because something's coming out and you think, right, I'll put something together and I'll put that. By the time you've thought about it, someone's got it out there.
Yeah, no, that's true. And you know, I must give credit to everybody who shares and publishes news, because I collect everything that happens, and I how do you say it? I put it in one place and share it with the whole world, for people to access it and to have it for free. And it's just collecting it all in one place, structuring it, checking it. Of course, you don't want to spread fake news. It has to be checked, and then you can deliver a certain quality.
Yeah, and I notice you're always on top of it and always pretty much first to get the news out there. And I guess after creating, you know, you've been creating for like nearly 30 years, you've probably got all that network of contacts and people.
Yeah, I have.
You want to get things out to you.
No, but that's true. I couldn't do it without people. You know, I made a lot of friends online. So if they see something, they give me a message. Did you see it? Did you spot it? And that helps me. I have contacts with publishers who think, okay, he can be a nice outlet for a product I have,
Mm.
or announce something new. Social media helps, of course. That's always good. Yeah, and I try to be the first. That's kind of what keeps me going.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know this, but with Elvis News, when I think it was early 23 when Lex announced that it was going to end.
Yeah.
I think round about then. And when I saw that, I thought, well, that's a shame. And I reached out to him and said, would you like someone to take it over in the vein that it runs in? And
yeah,
because you could see it after a while when a website needs hosting and that costs money. And I thought, what a shame if that dies.
yeah.
And it's lost. Yep. But I didn't know then that you already had your own Day by Day starting.
Oh, okay. Because when did you discover the site?
It probably wasn't long after that.
Okay.
But maybe being a little naive, not really know who was behind Elvis News. And, you know, I probably looked at it every week for years and years. But never knew the people behind it or where it was hosted and you know, I just reached out and sort of said, and it never went past a couple of emails, but said, you know, that would be a shame. In my day job, I run websites and things like this. You know, would you be
okay? Never knew that.
Yeah. Well, my day job's sort of design and R&D and marketing and things, but nothing to do with music. Totally different industry. And I just thought, yeah, you could revamp that, revise it, keep it going.
Yeah. No, but that would have.
That's what you've done.
yeah, and I like the thought you had, and I like the initiative, reaching out, trying to preserve something that a lot of people enjoyed. And you are right about saying I didn't know who was behind the elvisnews.com website, because that was exactly what we wanted to do. It wasn't about us; it was about Elvis. So if you looked on the about button, you would find our names. And we did interview ourselves one time just to introduce ourselves, you know, for people who wanted to know who were behind the website. You know, we didn't want to be Mr. X and Mr. Double X. So, you know, we wanted to be clear about that. But it was never supposed to be about us. So we did add our names to the reviews we wrote, because sometimes Lex would have a different opinion about an release than I had. And when we started out, we tried to combine that in one review that reflected both our opinions. But after a few years, we thought, no, just each of us has its own opinion, and just write under our own name. But that's all you could find about the people behind Elvis News. It was all about Elvis spreading the news, not about us.
Yeah. And it worked, didn't it? And
yeah, it worked pretty fine. And one of you know, it brought us in contact with a lot of people. And one of the, well, it comes to mind now you say it, one of my proudest moments was when we got an email from the Madison Square Garden people. They were hosting the Elvis the concert, I believe it was, and they asked if we could run a banner from them. And then I thought, okay, if they contact us, we're doing something right. And, you know, with the Elvis history there, you know, it just comes to mind that when you say this. But that was a proud moment, I must be honest.
You've literally stolen one of my questions there.
Sorry. Just ask it. I'll give you a different answer.
I had that question saved for you later.
Oh, okay. Well, perhaps you can come back to it in another way.
Yeah, but you just saved me a job.
Yeah, also true. Also true. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
but it's
but I think what you did we've taken away from Elvis News to go into day by day. I don't think anyone could have done a better job than what you've done. And
thank you.
you know, design wise and creative, I think you've done a great job. So
Yeah, and basically it's a very simple site because I use Blogger as a format. Because Lex was the one who designed and built we designed it together, but he built the website
yeah,
technically, and that was all his work, and all the functionality that's on the site. Well, you have to browse through the commercial banners now. That's a bit of a pity, but I'm glad that's the way he can keep the site running. Because when we did the site, we always had a deal. If one of us would stop, we would inform the other, and the other one could decide, I go on or I don't go on. Well, Lex continued the site. That was nice, and I'm glad it's still available because I still use it. It has a really nice encyclopedia on it, on the Elvis song base, and if you want to know which songwriter did what song, which musician was on which recording, I still use it for review. So yeah, and I know my way around the site, so that helps too. No, but it's still a valuable source, and there's a lot of reviews, interviews. So I'm glad it's still there, and therefore what you said, reaching out when they announced they would pull the plug on the website. I appreciate you did that. I didn't know it.
yeah. Obviously, I didn't advertise the fact or talk to anyone else about it. Really, it was just I thought it was just one of those funny things you might like to hear.
Yeah, but I enjoy it, and every now and then we Elvis fans have to help each other, and that doesn't have to be in the spotlight. If you do something on the background. Just making something possible for somebody to create something that, makes the hobby enjoyable for others. That's always good to have how do you say it in English? A silent partner, who makes things possible.
Yeah, definitely. So, how do people find you now then? How do they? 'Cause I think when you go on your web-based site, it's called like a blog spot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So people wanting to look you up that way, where would they go?
Well, I did register the name, so the easiest way to go there is to go to elvisdaybyday.com. That's a simple address, and if you type in that address, you get to the blog site. So that works. That's the easy way.
And then you're over Facebook as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of Facebook, but just like the paper magazines turned into websites turned into social media. So I kind of had a jump on that development, and with Facebook, it's such a fast medium. You have to keep track of it. And I follow a few sites, and just look at your own Facebook group. How fast that has grown in. What was it? Less than 2 years? You've reached over 10 or 12,000 members already. I lost count. So many.
It's at 12,400 now. I'm really pleased, and I always say, a bit like you were saying about Elvis News, it's not about us; it's about everyone. You know, and you're always very active, posting information and I really enjoy the group. I enjoy the group for the people.
Yeah.
Who are involved.
Yeah. No, but you have to have some people contributing on a regular basis. Because there has to be something new and fun to discover, and it doesn't all have to be news. It's a collector site, so I add some news for collectors, but other people add something they add to their collection or something they enjoy, and I see a lot of new stuff I will never ever own, but just seeing it, somebody having something beautiful, that's I can enjoy that. And what I must say is that your group, it's a polite group, the way people interact with each other. I was a member of the Elvis Collectors Forum. Well, you probably were there yourself. And at some point, it all went out of control, and eventually, it went as far as several sites getting hacked, and they're all gone now. But at one point, it wasn't fun to dwell there. Or to visit it, because it was too much bickering, and that's something that you and your other moderators do very well on the website. And another website I enjoy really well is the Elvis Club Berlin. Being from Holland, I've learned German in high school, so I can find my way around there. And it's a well-structured website. It has a forum connected to the content of the website. People have polite discussions with each other, and even if they disagree black and white, they have a discussion, and they let everybody be in their value, and I can enjoy that. And then it's insightful and it's fun to contribute.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have opinions. It's just when people start getting a little bit nasty with each other and personal. I mean, for me, Elvis should be fun. I mean, it's
a hobby,
It's our hobby. It's our, it's our passion. It's what we enjoy. Like you, I've been an Elvis fan since the first time I heard his record in 72, 73 when I played my dad's 78s, and
okay.
But it only took one play.
Yeah, I know that. But when you say, I just had a copied cassette tape, and you had 78, the originals, you kind of make me jealous. It's a good way to discover Elvis from the original first format.
It is, and we've had so many in between. We had the reel-to-reel players, we had the 8-tracks, cassettes, records. It's and I really love all the old audiophile type, not expensive, affordable hi-fi. Really, that's what I like.
Yeah, but if I look at the equipment and right behind you, every now and then I saw a new machine, and now you have the tape recorder over there, But it's somebody enjoying the hobby, enjoying the format. I did keep I don't have a tape player anymore, but I did keep my cassettes, because it's how I enjoyed the music when I was small. So I didn't want to throw that away. I did throw out my VHS videotapes, because I don't play that anymore. I did throw that out, but all the other stuff I kept, just for old time's sake, just for fun. And I'm still looking every now and then to buy some 8-tracks, just because for the fun, to display them for myself.
Yeah,
but I have to buy the first one. Didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not heard an 8-track since the late 70s, early 80s, when we had them in the cars.
Yeah, true.
So when I bought this recently, although it needs a service, it starts running slow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I bought a box full of 8-tracks from the States.
Oh, cool! You already got them? What
I've
titles are in it?
Oh, there's bit of a mixture, gold records, That's the Way It Is, a lot of compilation greatest hits type things, something for everyone. There's quite a few.
Okay, nice.
But I've had to stop playing them until I get this repaired.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing a new device appearing behind you.
Yeah. I'm trying to find an RCA cartridge player.
Yeah. You have to do it in style. I understand that. Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them were manufactured for PAs for schools. So
Oh, okay.
finding an audio version is quite difficult. I'm going to have to get one from America and trying to find one that works.
Yeah. That's always hard with old equipment. Yeah. I used to have an old Bang & Olufsen equipment. You know, I like the designs they once had. But if something was broken, you would be in trouble sometimes because it was hard to get affordable replacements.
Yeah. Yeah, it cost. I had the reel-to-reel service recently, and that cost quite a lot to maintain. But it sounds absolutely beautiful again.
Okay,
You know,
okay, yeah,
really
I know.
dynamic.
Okay, and I know it from my father-in-law. He used to have one, and you know they play for hours, so it's instead of having to turn the record every 5 to 6 songs, you know, you can just leave it on and it plays, and it's nice to see something. How do you say typical 70s? You know, I don't know actually how old they are, but I associate them with the 70s.
Yeah, yeah. I think they date back to the 50s, don't they?
Yeah, actually they do because the tapes are already out there. You are right, but you know I've never been that much into those. But thanks for correcting.
Yeah. But I've you know, as I've got older and kids are grown up, I've got more free time now to play around with things, and it's just putting things back in my collection that you know, I can just play with and enjoy.
Yeah. That's something I hear a lot of people say. Watching videos, people saying I'm rebuilding my collection because at one point in my life, you know, for good or bad reasons, they had to part with their collection. But there are a
Yeah.
lot of people who are rebuying the collection they once had. And I always find it intriguing what made people decide, you know, to part with their collection.
Yeah, well, I've done it myself. The first time I parted with 90% of my record collection, that was because we were driven down the CD route.
Yeah.
The record industry made it so we could only buy releases on CDs and not on vinyl anymore. They also made it so the retailers were better off selling CDs than vinyl.
Yeah.
So they really did kill the market for us a bit. And
That's true. Yeah.
I wanted to invest in a really high quality system. My first one, you know, I had lots of MIDI systems and you know, real cheap budget hi-fi. And I thought this was around about 91. I want to invest some money and have a really good setup.
Yeah.
And that was buying a CD player, an amplifier, and some speakers.
Yeah, that was the way to go.
Yeah, the record player went, so all the records went. And
yeah, no, it's true. But perhaps I was kind of lucky to be a few years younger because I started collecting in the 90s. So when the CDs came and Ernst Jorgensen started his reissue program with the of course the big boxes of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then the Elvis in the 90s series. You know, that's kind of what gave me the chance to build a collection because I had a few tapes, I had a few LPs, you know, the cheap Camden ones or the secondhand LPs I found, but I could really buy new stuff on a great new format. You know, that was what the marketing promised, of course, and I stepped in the 90s. So and now I'm buying back, so I'm going back in time. But I've not parted with it, so that's perhaps I was lucky being a new generation.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I was very late to CD. I mean, some of my friends, 84, 85, they had CD players. and they were already buying. I waited to around about 91,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that was because certain releases weren't coming out on vinyl.
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah, if
Yeah, no,
you
that's
want,
simple as that.
yeah, I mean a lot of box sets that were coming out on CD only, and then you had things like, by the time you got to the mid 90s, you had all the double features, and
Yeah,
if you wanted all the soundtrack albums, you had to buy CD.
that's true. And yeah, the 50s and 60s box, I believe, were also released on a cassette, an LP, and I
Yeah,
perhaps you know that the 70s box, Essential 70s, that was not released on LP, right?
no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I've been looking at buying those sets, just for all time sake. But I found the
Yeah,
50s box, but I still was looking for the other ones. But I just realized that a box as great as that wasn't even made on vinyl. That's kind of
yeah,
an eye opener. I never realized it because I
and
was always focused on CDs. That was the new go-to format.
yeah, and what a great release that would have been on vinyl.
Yes, yes,
That and I did the same. I looked back and I thought they must have released it on records,
yeah.
but no.
No, it would be nice if music on vinyl or a reissue label that works for Sony would pick up on a box like that. I think there would be a lot of fans would be interested in buying that on vinyl.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm a big fan of the CD, and I do enjoy the ease of CDs, and even the sound quality. If it's mastered correctly and made correct, produced well.
Yeah,
But I've really enjoyed going back to the vinyl.
yeah, it has something magical, and if you play them back to back, I think I hear some more dynamics here playing from vinyl, but that's also kind of it has a different sound, so it has been mastered differently than music mastered for CD. So it's a bit louder, and perhaps we think we get more sound out of vinyl just because it sounds a little louder. I don't know, but it's the CDs are perfect. It's a perfect medium. It's high quality. It's easy. It sounds good. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with CDs, but there's something sentimental about vinyl.
Yeah, and CD is a little harsher. I heard someone say something really good the other week, saying when you listen to a record, it draws you in, and when you listen to a CD, it pushes you out the room.
Okay, I've not experienced it like that, but the listening experience is different because you're really holding something in your hand. When you're holding an LP cover, it's big and beautiful. Well, most of them are. There are some ugly ones too, but no, you're holding something in your hand, and I'm glad that I have two daughters, and the new generation all is listening digitally to music. It's all streaming, but I'm glad that both of them also buy CDs, buy vinyl.
That's good.
I may not always enjoy the music they buy, but they buy music as a physical product, and I kind of I'm glad they see it as that.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a lot of dynamics by streaming.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good for casual listening.
It's just like turning on the radio, and for that it works perfectly.
Yeah, that's fine. But if you really want to enjoy it,
yeah, and the one thing I'm jealous of, because when I was young, we had to share music, copying it from friends in high school, or taping something from radio, and the new generation has everything available ever made at the push of a button. So I'm kind of jealous on the generation for that. But they do discover a lot through that. And if I look at some news reports, you see that young people are buying more vinyl than our generation is, because they discovered new music and they say, hey, I like it. And they want something physical then. So I was kind of surprised that they were buying so much vinyl. I see it with nephews and nieces. They buy physical products, and I think, okay, perhaps it's that everything turns out fine for this generation.
Yeah.
They're not all lost.
we need to keep it going, don't we? So it's
Yeah. And if we give the good example, then then perhaps, who knows, they may pick up.
Yeah. We don't want it to end. Luckily, it's come back bigger than ever for recently, hasn't it? So.
Yeah, it's well, to be honest, I just look at one niche of the music industry, and that's Elvis, and it's near to ridiculous the amount of material that comes out. We can be lucky as fans that so much is coming out, but at one point you can also say there is simply too much coming out. If I look at the number of updates I do on my website. The guy has been gone for nearly 50 years, but I can do updates almost every day.
Probably every 5 minutes sometimes.
Yeah, and if news is there and I have the access to my blog, then I put it on. I'm kind of eager. I want to be the site that brings all the news when it happens. That's kind of what keeps me going. But there's plenty of news to go around, and that still surprises me.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect segue into your books, isn't it? Because your books are full of all this news and information and an archive, really.
True.
It comes to history. So I thought, well, maybe have a countdown to the new release.
Okay.
So we've got 24.
Yeah.
You've done 23. 22.
Yes. Read that book.
And what I did want people to see is, the design and the artwork that goes into these books. Really is stunning and stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
That's one of my favourite covers, the 20.
Yeah, that one turned out very good. And I'm proud Elena Nash was willing to do the foreword for that one. So that's one I'm especially proud of.
Yeah, it's, they all look stunning, but, it's another iconic picture, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, it is.
And I love the way you blended it in.
Yeah, and I combined it with it. That's the way it is. And that one turned out nice. I must be honest. That's
19.
the first one. Yeah, that's the one that got it all started.
And that's a stunning image.
Yeah.
I was really pleased how it came out on the album cover art. And then 18.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite covers too. It's an iconic picture, and the dotted year, it worked perfectly. That's one I'm proud of.
And it's and that's why I took the DVD and I made those snapshots to make the NBC wall.
Yeah. I know. I don't mind if you leave up what you have there right now, but if I can dream, looked fabulous. All those pictures in a row, it look very good.
Yeah, there was one left over.
Yeah, I see it.
I would go the wrong way.
Yeah, I know. It's good. It fits in nice with the other pictures.
Yeah, and then we got the biggie.
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah. The last one.
Very latest release.
Yeah.
That must have been a lot of work going back.
Well, let me tell you, because I didn't get around to telling you that as part of my Elvis story. But when I was blogging for 20 years, I thought, what do I have to show for all my work? And there was nothing I could hold in my hands. And I thought, it was always kind of an ambition to put something in writing, and therefore I tried to turn the blog into a book. And I thought, okay, I can just make a copy of everything that's on my blog, but then it's not really interesting for people. So I thought, there were the old Elvis specials. They had articles and news snippets. And I reached out to the guys from the Elvis Information Network. I've known them for quite some time, because for elvisnews.com we were also cooperating with them. And they were gracious enough to share some of their reviews, because they write some of the best reviews available, and help me out with the book. So I could make a combination of everything that happens in the format that, Elvis Day by Day, which obviously was borrowed, so to speak, from Ernst Jorgensen's book. So all the credit to him for that format. Exactly. The original one. Yeah. And I mention that in every book, because that's where I got the idea. But, you have the short news updates, everything that happens, and the long reads in the form of an article, an interview, of a review of something that's worth some extra attention. I want to make people think about everything that comes out, and they can decide for themselves, this interesting or not. But because otherwise it would just be a day-by-day scrapbook, and adding the articles, made it a real book for me. So with the help of the guys from the Elvis Information Network, I got it started. And from there on, the first book, people had to get used to the idea, because why buy a book when everything is available online? But once you've read it, you get the idea behind the book. It's more than a copy of the book. So, and something funny happened. A lot of people started to use it as a shopping list. Reading the book and discovering everything they missed, and then the reviews help. Is it something? Is it bad that I missed something, or am I lucky that I didn't buy that crap release? But people, started using it as a shopping list. So this year, on the 2017 book, because it goes back, and people may realize what they missed all those years ago, I put a little warning in it that this book may cost you money because you may discover stuff that you want to add to your collection.
Well, I've been over the last few days, I've been reading it, and you've already caught me out with a few releases.
Okay. Well, my apologies. I hope you can still feed the wife and kids at the end of the month, but
yeah. But that's the great thing about it. It just, I think it's great having all this resource on the internet these days. But you can't beat being able to just pick up a handy book that you can. These are the type of books I'll just take on holiday with me, and just when I got a quiet 15 minutes, you can just pick it open and carry on reading. And
yeah. It's not the kind of book. But thanks for the compliment. And but it's not the kind of book you read from back to back. And the same goes for the Elvis UK box by John and Gordon. I just did a review of their latest book, and one of my observations or compliments for the guys, but if you browse to a book like that, and their last book was first released as a digital flip book, making it all available in an economy, different word, but in a for a good price, because it's hard to publish something yourself. There's a difference between browsing and reading. If you have a book, you really read, and if you are on a website, it's easy, but you start scrolling and leaving, and you're not really taking it in. And that's what I hope these books do. And reviewing the book by those gentlemen made me realize that once again. You read it far more intensely if you have a physical product in your hand.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think what impressed me and caught my eye first when I first saw them was obviously the design and the layout. That's really good. But like you say, you cover the news every day, day by day, for the 12 months of the year.
Yeah.
And I like the way that you kind of cover each day, and then when you get to what could be classed as an important release
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, I save one here just to show people. I'll just expand my screen. So I think at the end of the book, you pick the Madison book as the favorite release of the year.
Yeah.
And what I like is when you get to that release date, you then expand on the information and really do a big review on it. I mean, look at that. I mean, and that's another thing that really grabbed me, the way the pages are put together and the stunning look and design of it.
Thank you.
So it's not just a quick flick through of the day-to-day news. It's, it really does start going in depth into the, reviews of the releases or historic events as you go along.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I always wanted to be a designer, but work took me a different way. So I enjoy trying to make it look good. And I like what Sean Torrance said in his Sincerely Elvis Presley channel when he did a little unboxing of the book. He said, I incorporate the design of the product in the review. And I thought, yeah, I never looked at it like that. But that's kind of what I do, because that's kind of, where I think I can use the images, to show what the release is all about, but not just in simple blocks of images next to text. Then it becomes repetitive, and I want it to be a little bit appealing. So thank you for the compliment, and I enjoy that, because I can be the designer I never was.
Yeah, and it's good you've got fans reviewing things and other Elvis experts and everything. It's it makes for a really good read,
Yeah, and that's another thing I learned. There's a lot of stuff coming out, but a lot is re-releases or the same material in better quality or outtakes or different variations. And at one point you have to conclude how many reviews can I write of a certain album. If it's an CD, a cassette, a high definition, an LP release or whatever, basically it's the same release. So I thought, why not invite other people? People who have an opinion, not always my opinion, but a different opinion, which helps readers to think about how they look at something. And therefore I invited other people, and I was able to expand the books, because it's a lot of work to make them, but with contribution of online friends, you can offer a variation of opinions. And that makes it interesting for people to read, I hope.
I think the variation does make it interesting. Different perspectives, and we all like different things, don't we? I mean, some people like the 50s, 60s, or 70s.
Yeah.
So to have someone reviewing the 50s, if it's not their favorite period, you're going to get slightly tinted review.
Yeah, and sometimes it is, when Trevor writes a review for Elvis the Man and His Music, sometimes, how do you say it? He can't help himself. If he thinks it's crap, he will tell that from the first opening sentence of a review until the very last sentence, and then he adds in some typical English humor. But he doesn't like it, and he lets the world know he doesn't like it, and he's very upfront about his opinion, and I can enjoy that, but I don't enjoy it if I read that for 10 CDs in a row. You have to have some variation. So and sometimes you praise something even if somebody else calls it crap. There are a lot of LPs coming out these days. They're pressed in limited editions of even 100 copies. and it's
Yeah.
all borrowed, so to say, from other releases. But every now and then, the compilation itself is enjoyable to listen to. And yes, you can throw it away and say, it's crap. We have everything. But the compilation itself, the way it's packaged, sometimes the designs are really great. That makes it fun to collect. Simply as a novelty album. And a lot of fans will say, I have everything. It's something. It's a money grab. But also those releases can be fun. And the other way around, if you look at official releases from Sony, and they make big mistakes, like they did in 2025 with the rehearsal tapes running too slow on the Sunset Boulevard. You don't expect that. It's a big company, and they mess up big time. So a crap release for someone, I can enjoy it, while the big official release of the year from the Elvis own record company, they miss out big time. So it can either go both ways for me.
Yeah. And we don't buy some of them; they're not going to release them.
No, and that's kind of the business case for the Follow the Dream label. I think a lot of fans probably have enough concerts, but they do support the label, because if we don't buy the concerts, we don't get the session sets. If those aren't success, we don't get the vinyl. A lot of fans appreciate. So you kind of have to support the team and allow them to expand and offer new things.
Yeah. I always feel that I like to support the official label. And even the run-of-the-mill Sony re-releases, I'll always buy them.
Yeah.
I don't always need them, but
there is kind of my hobby, my excuse, Yeah, but I must review this for my blog, so I must buy this. I'm obligated. That's what I tell myself. And even I can buy everything. Simply too much coming out. And Paul Sweeney, he did he was kind enough to do the foreword for the 2017 edition, and he texted me 2 days ago, and he said, how many releases did come out in 2017? And the honest answer was, I stopped counting. It was simply too much, and that was almost 10 years ago. And I realized that when I wrote the foreword, I'm writing a book about 40th anniversary of Elvis' death, and in August, Joel Weinschenker was saying, we're gearing up for the big 5-0, which is in 2 years. And then you see how fast time goes, and how much came out for the 40th anniversary. What are we going to get for the 50th? It's a really big number. Some fans say, it's over for Elvis when we're past the 50th anniversary. I don't know that yet, to be honest. But it shows how fast time goes. But also from 40th anniversary to 50th anniversary, how much have we gotten as fans? Too much, I guess.
Yeah, I could probably think of another 50 plus projects they could do.
I think all fans can. That's true. And so therefore, I think it will continue. But you also see, the fan base is getting smaller. If I report on pretty much everything that comes out, and when I look at the numbers in which books or albums are pressed, a lot of CDs or albums are pressed 100 copies. That's not a lot, and then in our little bubble, we see all those releases. But if you look at the number of fans, you have 12,000 members on your Facebook group, but how many of those 12,000 fans are buying everything or are buying a lot of releases? I think it's a really small group who buys this stuff, because otherwise the things would be printed in higher volumes.
Yeah, I think they need to concentrate on the mainstream releases and getting new fans, don't they? And
Yeah,
feeding them the very best releases really is the only way to do that.
yeah, and it kind of surprises me that Sony hasn't really stepped in yet. You know, if I go to a record store and I browse to the Elvis section, which obviously I do every time I enter that store, there aren't that much Sony releases. There are a whole lot of budget releases, all with the same material. You know, 5 CDs for €10 here in Europe, and then you get a Sony compilation. You get 15 tracks for €15. You know, the business case doesn't even match. And you see a lot of MRS. You know, they're really popping out a lot of material. But where is Sony?
Yeah,
They aren't present, and Elvis has so much great albums which should be out there. I was pleasantly surprised that last month they had the album National Album Day in the UK, and they brought out from Elvis in Memphis on what was it, red colored vinyl.
Bloody Mary.
Oh yeah, Bloody Mary. That was the word. You know, I was positively surprised that Sony stepped in, and such a great album was available in record stores again, and part of a campaign. And I thought, okay, what's next? You know, you're there. It's one of Elvis' best albums. What are you going to do as a follow-up to people who buy that album next to perhaps some other big artists? You know, who have some of their legendary or best of albums available.
And there's so many great albums that they could. I mean, it's one of my biggest bugbears really at the moment with Sony. That, you know, especially after the Elvis 22 and the new Baz epic Elvis in concert.
Yep.
Really, they need to capitalize on this. And
yeah, but I've heard no word on the soundtrack.
No.
And it you know, and Ernst Jurgensen did a little speech early in October in Denmark, but he said nothing about a soundtrack. Nobody in the audience asked him. That was a pity. But you know, if you look at or listen to the Elvis movie from 2022, there were 54 songs released from the movie. Not all Elvis, also mashups and all kind of stuff, but they really worked with music. And I've only seen snippets like you have, I guess, on YouTube of the new movie. But Bas Luhrmann has been playing around with the music, so there is, I won't say new music, but there's a new interpretation of his music. And you know, with the movie coming out, fingers crossed, we get some new music, because that may appeal to a new audience.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many good original Elvis albums and periods.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after the Elvis movie, and then there was a Netflix on the 68.
Yeah.
Why they didn't relaunch 68 as a double vinyl record around that?
Yeah, they did it for Record Store Day, but why not make that album available widely? You know,
Right.
When I go to the vinyl on in a record store or look on a dealer's website, I see all kinds of. I see a lot of Elvis original albums, but not from Sony or RCA. You know, if a budget company can release that LP business-wise, because they all want to make money, like we concluded earlier, then why not? Why can't Sony do that? Just make the 15 best albums available.
Yeah. I'd like to see a lot of double album re-releases with sort of Elvis in Memphis and Back in Memphis together with a brand new artwork even, and you know.
Yeah. That's one thing the MRS label does okay. You know, they have a appealing artwork and bring out concerts with a modern sound, and that's what people want to hear.
Yeah. Just talking about the book again. Another feature I do like in the book, when you get to the end of the book, you do like an overview of the year.
Yeah.
Just a small overview of each month of the important information. And then another good section is where you do the top 10 releases of the years and the runners up.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got the index as well, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a reference book, so I think there should be an index.
Yeah, but I do like that roundup at the end of the book with the top 10 and the other great releases of the year.
Yeah.
And,
you know, oh, sorry, finish your sentence.
So I was just saying, with what 475 pages in this, there's definitely enough Elvis product out there, isn't there?
Exactly, and you know that's why I added top 10 at the end. You know, if I had to pick my favorites of the year, just to give them, well, not a shopping list for fans, you know, but what were important, appealing, fun releases for us as fans, and they're all my taste. So it's my top 10. But there's something to think about, you know, to wrap it all up and to give the book an ending, because otherwise it's December 31st, last page, close the book. You know, I want to wrap it up nicely. Therefore, I add the year in review article and the top 10 list. And I got, you know, when I did the first books, I only did a top 10, and I got a few complaints because people said, yeah, it's nice that you list all those big expensive boxes, but not everybody can afford those boxes. And you know that was true. So therefore, I added the top 10, and I expanded it on runners up, but they could have been in the top 10. You know, and what are interesting books, interesting CDs, interesting vinyl, interesting DVDs or Blu-rays? Just, you know, people helping them to find their way through, well, the myriad of products released. And it has to be something for everybody, you know. The big making of boxes from Follow the Dream and Flaming Star, they deserve a place in any top 10, because those are really quality products. But not everybody wants to buy that again at a high price, can't afford it. So, you know, it's also good to have alternatives, and I want to point that out to people too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if you asked every single Elvis fan, that top 10 would be different.
I hope so. Then we have something to talk about.
Yeah, we have a lot. You know.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
It, you know, and it's like you said earlier, it's already captured me with a couple of releases that, firstly, I wasn't even aware of, that I missed.
Oh, can you name one? The one that sprung out to you?
I think it was the French Flaming Star Blu-ray.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now I did buy a Flaming Star on Blu-ray, and it was a European version, but it wasn't that French.
No.
And I really want to see what they've done with remastering it now.
Yeah, but you must realize it is the quality from 2017. You know, that's kind of. But you know, what I liked about those French releases, it had the appeal of the authentic original movie posters. That's what made them look really, really nice. And you know, I want the book to be informative, but also graphically appealing. So sometimes I select a release because it looks good, and you know, it's always, you know, it has to be visually attractive, and those were good.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that they'd released a Western box set on DVD at the same time, and I always thought that would have been a good way of FTD releasing a vinyl on the Westerns to get Love Me Tender in. And
Yeah, sometimes fans have to give FTD an ID how to release material. They obviously have problems how to put this out. And you know the what was it? The last movie's set was a nice concept. For hey, you know, 3 small soundtrack releases and put them all together, and it worked. So they could do that for the early soundtracks too.
Yeah, I think that would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you know, it well, fans will definitely buy it, and you know, if you look at what came out this year, also from Flaming Star, they put out a soundtrack LP for Love Me Tender, even a double LP. So you could easily make a compilation. The Loving You has been announced by the Memphis Mansion. So you know, and you could make something new. You know, visually attractive. I like the stereo work Anthony Stutzbury does from mono to stereo. So you can add something special for fans.
Yeah, I like his work. I like the work he did on the 706 Union
Yeah.
release. And I chat to Anthony now and again. He's not far from a town I used to live in.
Oh, okay.
So we do chat, and in fact, he brought me back a copy of 706. He bought it for me while he was over.
Oh, nice.
Brought it back. So he's a nice guy, and hopefully I'll get him on one day.
You get?
And you know, I'd really like to get him on the channel one day.
Oh, on the channel. Sorry. Yeah. I have the same. I talk to him every now and then, but it would be nice to meet up and meet people in person one day.
Yeah.
And I must say the 706 LP was an eye opener for me, because I don't always enjoy the really metallic sound of the early rock and roll. It's not, you know, not pleasing to the ears, but presented like this, it was the music a young Elvis was listening to when he was growing up, from 51, the first tracks on the album, until I believe the 60s. And that's what he heard, that's what he put in his mind, and that's what he took to that same studio when he entered it and made his first recordings. So it was a really good concept, I think, and well presented, good audio quality, enjoyable audio quality. I enjoyed that release more than I thought beforehand.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a big fan of the early R&B sound. So, you know, obviously the Jackie Breaston and B.B. King and everything, it was all the Prisoners. It was all stuff that I listened to, and
I was surprised how rock and roll B.B. King was with a track in 1951.
Oh, B.B. King could really jump. I saw him in seen him about 5 or 6 times in the UK.
Okay.
And I saw him at a very small special one-off show in Blackpool in '91, and I had a big camera with me.
Okay.
And when I went in, I think they thought I was part of the press, so they put me on the front row.
Bluff your way
in front of him.
Okay.
And I tell you what, the sound he was making, the floor was just going up and down like that. It was brilliant.
Great. Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah, but the eye opener was that he was doing rock and roll music before Elvis. You know, for me, he was always blues music. I discovered him very late in life, so to say. So for me, it was always the blues. He with Lucille, but I never pictured him as a rock and roll artist. But he was a rock and roll artist before Elvis was.
Yeah, it was a very borderline blues, R&B, rock and roll.
Yeah, but it's one of the ingredients Elvis put in his music. You know, his first records were blues records. You could say there was Arthur Crudup is a blues musician in my book. I don't know if I say that correctly, but that's where he started. So the blues hit a chord with Elvis.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny that when RCA invented the 45 RPM, Alpha Crudup his single was one of the first releases in 1949.
Yeah, that's true. I read that. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The actual first release was a country star, and Parker was his manager.
Seriously?
Yeah. So already there was this massive connection building up between RCA, Parker, Elvis.
Yeah, all good things come together at one point.
Yeah.
I knew Arthur Crudup was one of the first, and but I didn't know that the very first was already connected to Parker.
Yeah.
Learn something new. I'm more of the news from today. So thank you for learning me something.
Well, you can see I'm old school.
Yeah, but that's kind of fun, But because doing the books like this and getting in touch with fans for a review, then you see that every fan has his own music, his own knowledge, and for me, it's always very insightful to talk with fans, just like you, who were there from earlier than I was, who sometimes experienced LPs coming out. For me, it was all before I became a fan. Everything happened, but they experienced it and they can talk about it. That was kind of the fun about the Alan Hansen book which I reviewed in the 2017 edition. He wrote Elvis at the Movies, but he didn't just write this is the script, this were the players, this happened while they were filming. No, he wrote it from I was a kid, I went to the cinema and I saw that movie, and this was my experience. I never had that, so that's something I really enjoyed about that book.
Yeah. I mean, we're all learning over time. I mean, I wasn't born till 1969, so I missed that whole period. I was just starting to enjoy Elvis alive, and then he was gone.
Yeah. For me, it was I think 78 or 1980 or so. Then when I became aware of Elvis, but then everything was history already.
Yeah. So we've all been discovering and looking back, really.
Yeah, true. I hope to guide people a little bit what happened.
Yeah, well, you're definitely preserving history in these books, aren't you?
That's
the
kind
history
of
of
what I hope to do. Yeah, because especially in the digital world and on social media, all the information is here today and gone tomorrow. And I try to preserve it. And Ger Rijve, the Dutch writer and collector, said it nicely. He always had how did he call it? Smelly paper. Old magazines, old editorials, and stuff like that. We don't have that in the digital day and age. You have a JPEG file somewhere on a desktop. So in my books, I try to add all those visuals because once the record company takes it offline, it's all gone. And smelly paper is gone. Just last week I bought what was the name? A True Strange magazine from 1957. When
great cover.
Yeah. I didn't buy the one with Elvis on the cover. I bought the other one with rock and roll on the cover. But how rock and roll was going to mess up today's youth, and if it was evil, those stories. But to have an old magazine like that and hold that in your hand and read what they wrote in 1957, just that's enjoyable. That's smelly paper for me, and Yeah, you refer to the other one. I would like to have that one, but you never see it on auction sites.
Yeah, and that's why you got to buy the books. You got to buy the physical media, haven't you? It's yours then. You've got it virtually ever.
Yeah, and you can hold it, and there are a lot of books coming out. I helped out Nigel Patterson. He did a book on Elvis comics, and through helping him, I learned a lot about how Elvis was perceived in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Just in the comics, how Elvis was perceived in 1956 when the first comic was drawn of him. It was fun to learn, and to see. And there, I discovered the True Strange magazine. So I know how it looks, but I still want a copy for myself. But books like that, or books on discographies from various countries, I will never own those records. But browsing through it, is a good alternative for me. So I like those kinds of books, and I like to hold them in my hands.
Yeah. I'm the same. That's why I've got cupboards full of them.
Yeah. Well, that makes life fun, you got to have a hobby, and if the hobby brings fun, then it's okay.
Yeah. So next year, then, I guess the next book will come out in 26.
Yeah. January or February. I don't know the exact date yet, because working on the 2017 edition delayed the other work a little, but I'm still aiming for early next year, January or February, to put it out. So I'm working on it very hard. I almost have too much material already. So I'm thinking about where do I slim down? Because the only thing that doesn't make my books bigger than they are, because they could have been bigger if you look at everything that comes out, is that my editing program doesn't allow more than 480 pages.
Right.
So that's why the books are what they are. If I add some more reviews, then they could have been bigger.
Right.
So I have to make a few choices for the 2025 edition. I see you are checking the pages now.
23 is exactly 480 pages.
Yeah. And the others are too. And the 2017 is 475.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have done one article more, but I had 55. I thought that's a nice round number. So I stopped at 55 reviews.
Yeah.
But
I did notice when I got to the end, I thought, you saved a couple there.
Yeah. That's part of the format, there has to be a certain amount of pages in the book, and you can't print anything on the last page. Then the publishing won't accept it. So there is an empty page at the end, but that's for one simple reason. Otherwise, the system says no.
Yeah.
But no, but perhaps you were talking about the 2025 edition. But if people look behind you, there's a little preview. So a little premiere for your channel.
That way.
There it is. Yeah. And I didn't do a pink edition, so I kind of was inspired by the Elvis show in London, the Elvis Evolution. It wasn't as good as I had hoped, to be honest. But I thought, okay, let's go pink this year. Yeah. So that's where the color comes from.
And the gold lame suit.
Yeah, it fits in nicely. I always wanted to use that suit one time. It's so iconic.
Yeah.
And it stands out on the pink background.
Yeah. Did you go to the London Bridges exhibition? The arches.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I liked it very much. You English are very lucky. All the big exhibitions, all the tours, they always come to London or the UK. No, I liked it very much. I did see some repetition from previous shows, of previous exhibitions. But it's good. It's out there. It's as close as you get to Elvis in Europe. I also enjoy every now and then a trip to Bad Nauheim when they organize something there. That little town breeds Elvis. It has some real Elvis history there. And it's as close as we get in Europe. You have to go to the States to experience Elvis as we all know him. But fortunately, we have something in Europe and in London every now and then, a nice exhibition or a concert.
Yeah, it's good.
And I really the 2017 edition. I did some. There was also an exhibition in London at O2, and it really offered us a chance to watch the suits up close and personal. I included some pictures in the book. You could stand with your nose 10 centimeters away from the suit and see all the details. And that's good. That's available for European fans.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, they even released a little compilation CD from that show, didn't they? From the O2 one.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah, I always found it an odd one. It's just a random compilation, but I was surprised when I found it. But,
you must show me because I may have missed something. That doesn't really come to mind for me.
Have you seen that?
Oh, that one. Yeah. I don't have it. Yeah.
No, this was released earlier, 2014.
Oh, or was it for the concert?
I'm gonna have to put my glasses on now.
Okay. Now you scared me. I thought I had missed something because I tried to do everything.
Yeah, maybe that's earlier. This is definitely a 2014 CD. So.
Oh, okay. No, then it has the style of the concert tour. So, but the year must be on the back.
Yeah, because it says it mentions the O2 on it on the cover. Okay. Very small.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't. I should look back my own blog to see what happened in 2014.
Yeah. I thought it might have been the same one, but
No, I discovered that I missed for 2024. I missed one little vinyl series that was released somewhere in South America. But I tried to be as complete as possible. But when the book was out, I found that little LP series. But I think, damn, not as complete as I thought I was. So you almost gave me a little scare there that I missed something. But I will look it up when we're done. I'm going to look up and see if I mentioned it in the 2014. Yeah, now you triggered me.
I can imagine it's impossible to capture absolutely everything.
No, that's true, and that was one of the learnings in 2017 because I have my blog, so I pretty much have all the news I reported. But when you do your research and you go, look at other books, fan club magazines, some other websites, then you find new stuff and. Getting that right on the timeline was quite a lot of work. But I think it's a pretty comprehensive. I won't say it's a complete, but it's a comprehensive overview of everything out there. It's hard going back. Even And that's kind of why I do these books. You know, if it's hard for me to collect everything, and I do this on a daily basis, then it's probably harder for the casual fan.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's enough in them.
Yeah, and I ran out of pages, so I can't add anything more. I can add a few blank pages. Well, I already did, so fans can make their own notes for the stuff I missed, perhaps.
Exactly. That's what I thought you'd left it for. Was just for us to fill in the last couple of blanks.
I'll give those pages a title: News Missed by Kees, and then add your own news.
Yeah.
You gave me an idea for the next volume.
These are for you.
Yeah, the do-it-yourself pages. Yeah.
So will today be an entry in the 25 day by day?
Yes, it will.
Is this an Elvis event?
No. I don't write about myself. But today, coincidentally, the book by Peter Guralnick on the Colonel was named Year of the Book Book of the Year. Sorry, by Uncut and by Time Magazine. So today has an entry in the 2025 page. I'm actually a little bit surprised because reviews were mixed on his book, but Uncut and Time Magazine put it in high on their rankings, and Uncut put it at number 1.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the year is we have 1 month to go, so it's a bit early. I always wait until the last day of the year has passed.
Yeah.
I don't want to be incomplete and release a book just before Christmas because it may sell a few copies extra. But I want to be complete. You know, between Christmas and the last day of the year, plenty of stuff happens.
And for everyone who wants to buy it, I know it's readily available on Amazon, which is really good and makes it easier. But if you want to tell everyone where else they can get it from, if you want to get it direct.
Yeah, well, if you want to get it directly, I make 2 versions. I make a paperback version, which is available through Amazon. You know, you can beat their price and you can beat their shipping rates, especially for a book which sells globally. Obviously, some of the fan clubs sell it. Elvis Matters sells it. The United Elvis Presley Society, Benny's 50s. I don't know if you know that store. It's a Dutch retro store, but it sells worldwide. The TCB shop in Germany and my own site. I sell it on populartunes.com. You know, named after the first record store that sold an Elvis music. I was lucky that the name was still available, so I thought that was fitting. And I'm making a hardcover version just because I like the feel of it. It's a little bit more expensive. It's the same content, but I like the feel of a real hardcover cover book. So populartunes.com, you can get all editions.
Yeah, brilliant. I'll put all the links down in the
Thanks.
description of the video.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'm hoping people who got a bit more of an understanding about the books and everything behind them.
Yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity to talk about the book and talk Elvis. It was really entertaining and fun. I enjoyed myself, and I hope to give people a little insight in what the book is all about and why it's important to preserve Elvis history, because that's also what I try to do, and it's very insightful. You know, as you say, to get the concepts, you have to learn something about it. So I hope this video will appeal to some fans. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I've really enjoyed time. It's easy just talking to someone about Elvis.
And, yeah, you know, and Well, if I look at the clock, we've been talking quite some time. So I hope everybody takes the time to watch the video from the opening until the end. But it was an enjoyable talk, and that's kind of actually what this hobby does for me. It makes the hobby come alive. It connects me to people. I have a fun evening talking to you, and that makes the hobby fun. And Elvis still connects fans around the world. So. We can be glad.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So maybe we can get together again next year when the latest book's out.
Yeah, I would be honored to be on the channel.
Yeah, brilliant. Maybe get some of the guys together as well this time, and that'll be brilliant. Well,
just invite some friends. I'll be there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And until the next time.
Yeah, thank you. And see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That train keeps getting closer.